Started. All right, welcome everyone. Week 3. How is everyone feeling? How was your week? Did you enjoy working on the issues? Yes,
I said not really. No way. Those issues sucked.
What I can say is this week was actually as usual, like learning process. Like we spend time doing research, trying to figure out how we can, improve the way the issues, like the code we wrote, and it was pretty interesting. For like at the end of the week, we managed to like submit a required let me say what we were supposed to do. So it was really amazing and challenging. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with Zashi. Exactly what Zashi said. Challenging, but very rewarding at the end of the week.
I love that. Like we had all PRs and like peer reviews, mentor reviews, all on time, and we had like great like amount of time to reloop and kind of implement the feedback, work on different issues, and also like actually create extra branch that we did today, and that was awesome. Really productive week, I would say. Amazing work. Yeah, I will pass in on Kevin, and maybe we can start on demoing our work, your work.
Cool. All right. Great work this week, everybody. Did fantastic. Let's jump into our first team and go ahead and do a little demo like usual. I don't know who wants to go first. I don't know who I'm referring to when I say first team.
Do you have someone in mind? I'm sure me and Claire would be happy to go first. Claire,
all
would
right,
you be okay with that?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Excellent.
It's all you.
Okay. I will share my screen. Okay, so I think Claire is going to get us started by talking through the issue that we were solving this week.
Yes, that is correct. Let me see. So yes, so the nice thing, I've written a couple of things down. So the nice thing about the smart shopping list is that the user can make one and then they can share it with others. So yeah, I'm guessing it's nice for families or if you have housemates. So say the first user creates a new shopping list, they get their token. This token can then be given to the person or people they want to share the list with. The second person enters the token into the home screen. The token is stored into the second user's local storage, and the existing shopping list then appears on their screen. I'll read our acceptance criteria as well. So they were as follows. So when the user does not already have a token in local storage, on the onboarding home screen, a simple form is displayed that allows the user to enter the token. Entering the token and hitting submit saves the token in local storage, effectively giving them joint control of the list. On submit, show an error if the token does not exist, and if they get an error message, allow them to try again or create a new list. And I'll hand back over to Abby.
Yeah, so I'm going to be honest, me and Claire found this very challenging this week. It took us quite a while to come to the solution that we did come to in our code. Let me just open VS Code. So we ended up deciding in the issue, it sort of gave you the option to either make a list available with no items in, or make a list available only when there were items there. And we decided to go the first option. We thought that would give the user more flexibility. And so the route that we took was to create a collection called tokens and store an array of all of the existing tokens in it, so that when someone enters a token that they've been given by a friend or a housemate, it will look in the token document in the array and see if any of the options in the array match that token. And I ended up doing this with the array union that I think Chiamaka mentioned a week ago. So this part was fairly straightforward. I think the part where we got stuck was in the compare token. So it took us a really long time to figure out how the database, how Firebase was handing back the data when we used this .get. I've actually implemented here, we were originally using a for each loop on every document, and I think it was Kevin that suggested that the query snapshot had this empty property that we could use to check whether it returned anything or not. And this was ultimately how we implemented it. So we use the query snapshot, check if it's empty. If it's not empty, then we set the local storage of that user to the new token, and then we send them to the list view so that they can see the list. If it doesn't exist, then we set an error as true, and we set the notification to display above the form. We also ended up implementing something extra today, which was the button on the form will be disabled if someone doesn't enter anything in the input box. And I think Claire wanted to talk through that a little bit and how we implemented that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's it. Let's see, what did I write down? Yes, I think, yeah, that came up during the review process. I think Kevin mentioned that it might be useful to sort of disable the button if somebody hasn't put anything into the input box that you see on the home screen. I think it might be a nice user experience. So we looked into that, and today Abby ended up coding in that functionality. So you can see it's towards the bottom of the screen. If you look at the button and then disabled token name dot length equals 0. So this is basically the functionality that will disable the button. And Luca also suggested that we use this functionality on the add item screen. So if somebody were to enter or were not to enter anything into the add item input box, then they wouldn't have the ability to click on the button. So that would also mean that you wouldn't have empty strings being added to the list, which could be a little bit annoying and a bit confusing. So yeah, Abby ended up coding that in as well, so you can see it highlighted on screen as well. And then the next thing, I think Abby will talk a little bit about the functions there
was just one more suggestion from the PR that I ended up implementing today. So I think nearly everyone talked about how once you're in the app, once you can see the list view and the add view, it's possible to edit your token in the local storage, or for example, from the database, a token could be deleted and someone can still continue to add items, which can cause quite a lot of problems further down the line. So I ended up coding in a validate token function, which I've imported into the create item. And essentially in the handle submit, we're now checking for a few things. So, but the first thing that we do is we check if there's an invalid token. So we pass the token to the validate token function. It uses the same functionality that we coded into home. And then if the token's invalid, it clears the local storage, it pushes us back to the home page. I think maybe in the future we could look at implementing like an error message that obviously tells the user why they've been pushed back to the home page, so it's not confusing. But that kind of cleared up that issue. And I think maybe the last thing that we'll do is just give you a quick user demo, which Claire, if I hand my remote control of my screen over to you, do you want to go through that?
Yes, please. Thanks so much. Let me
Cool.
see if it's...
Have you got that notification through?
I do,
Yeah.
yes, I can see it now on screen. Thanks so much. Oh, okay, fair. Yes, so user demo. Let me see, what did I write down? So imagine I'm a new user. This is also why I'm on the home screen. So this, you can basically, this is also almost evidence of a token not being in local storage. That's basically the only way that you can get to the home screen. So say I'm planning a party with a friend, and instead of creating a new list, this friend has given me their token. Oh, what have I done? Oh,
No, sorry, that's me.
okay.
There you go.
So friend has given me their token. The party is COVID safe. So their token is, oh, their token is, and so 3-word token. I'm joining their existing list, and there it is. This is their list, and I can start adding my items for the party. Say, oh, add item and view list. So this is yeah, this is the functionality. I hope it's clear. So if anybody has any questions.
I don't have any questions, but I'm blown away by the collaboration in this demo. It was beautiful the way you handed it back and forth. It was an amazing example of what a demo should look like. So really great job here. Your code is beautiful and readable and clean, and I'm absolutely blown away by how much consideration you all, like including the mentors with feedback and stuff, put into the user experience. I think that says a lot about your empathy and the way that you code, and I think that we need more of that in the world. So amazing job here. Very proud of you.
Thank you,
I
Stacey.
completely agree.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, all of that.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Luca.
Yeah, I just I love I love the demo as well. I think I mentioned this before, but like I love how naturally you move back and forth to discuss different topics, and it just flows as a story. And I really love your demos. One question: could you show us like an error message? For example, if the token is incorrect. Yes. I know that you have that functionality as well.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Let me see.
I think I'd already set it up to have local storage selected at the bottom there.
It's just that my screen is, it cuts
can you not see it at the bottom?
Yeah, exactly. I can't see. Clear.
Let's do some teamwork. I'll delete the token
Real.
and do a little page refresh, and then there we go. You can take it from there.
Yes, and this is then.
Ooh, beautiful.
We also coded it in that the error message disappears. I know that Kevin mentioned that it's not strictly necessary to have the error message disappear. It's usually, you know, they usually stay around until the next try. But yeah, this is what we did.
I love it.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
guys, yeah, you two did a great job. You took a lot of feedback this time around, and you went above and beyond and implemented it all. So great work.
Sure.
So if anyone doesn't have any other questions, we can move on to the next demo. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much.
All right. Sashay, you're on your own, it looks like. Think you can handle it?
Yeah, I will try. So my actually, like, I'm not putting on video because sometimes internet brings some issues. So, but I think gonna save everything. So my colleague Nadinda haven't been able to make it available because she's not well. But I will try, and because we're together, so I know what's going on. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Okay. So you can see my screen, and where should I start? Let's start with what our issue, what we had to do. So the issue was saying that as a user, I want to alert when I'm entering an item. Just a sec. Okay, an item that is same as something already on my list, so I can avoid duplicate item. So which is clear, like I don't have to duplicate everything, like things which is already in my database. So our AC was show an error message if the user tried to submit a new item that has exact same name as an existing one. So they should not be the same names. I hope so. And show an error message if the user tried to submit a new item that has same name as an existing item where capitalization has been numerized and punctuation has been removed. For example, one would write mango and another write mango with capital letters. So this should be verified so that it doesn't repeat, though one is in capital letter, another is not. So the third AC is the user original info should be what gets saved in the database. So which means like the first input is the one I would see in my database. Then the other one I will check if like it's kind of similar to what I already have. So going in our codes, all right here. Yeah. Okay. All right, so most of our work we were like because the way we did it, we were like most of the work was about to just put the item name, and the item name could be compared with something database. So that means our functionality was based in create item because that's what we're going to do. So this is where we have like put all our functionalities. So the way we thought, me and Nadinda, we were like, that means for us to compare the two names which are similar, that means we should be able to compare something which is already in the database, the item name, and also compare it the name a user is going to push in the database. So we just do in a way that we first pull the things which are all the list of items name in the database. So as you can see, we use React hook, React Firebase hook by just trying to access all values of our items from the database. Then having an access to these values, that's where we have been able to create this logic of finding duplicate. That means to check like, so if I have access to all these lists of names from my Firebase, how can we compare it to the present name of the username which like user is going to send? So we were like creating this functionality. We looped all those values name. We looped like all values from the Firebase using for each method. Then we said we stored the name from the DB. You can see it was stored in this variable name from the DB, and the name from the user was stored in this variable. So we create an if condition which compare the two names. So we're like, are those names similar? So if those names are similar, our exist item should be, because you see we declared the exist item to false, then we change it to true, right? So our something you can see those two names was also covered with clean user input function. What does it mean? Because remember that from our ACE, we had also to check like the capitalization thing, the like punctuation in our AC. So this irregular expression has been doing magic for us. So that means every name we put in the input should be like passed through this function to check if like to change it to lowercase to check its punctuation, remove those punctuation so that it will be able to be compared with something which is already in our Firebase. So we return the existing item, which should be true or false, depends on this condition. Then we store it in the variable called, I think it's down here, duplicate item. So we call the function like our find item duplicate. Then we call it here and give it our item, which we are like, we are sending in our input and check, like we are processing it to check it if it's similar something from Firebase. So once the thing we did, like once I can see we kind of did it today, trying to mix up with another team was like, I mean, Abby's team, like their invalid logic. But also for us, we were like, in case there is duplicate, we should set notification and call this duplicate item. And the notification, as you can see, up here in state, we started change, like it was false, like in the beginning. Then at the end, it should be like giving a message down here. Once the duplicate is already there, we should return true. We should get this error message which saying the item already exists. So I think it makes sense. Let's test and run it to check like what I was saying in visual form. So my code I've already, like it's already learning. So like maybe go in browser and go to local storage. All right, so this is already like my list. So if I go to add view, and remember what we are doing is just to compare things which is already in the Firebase. So as you can see in my list already, I have Mango, for example, I have Joyce. So let me again add Joyce, right? So you see Joyce is already existing in my Firebase. So if I add it, you can see I already have the error which said the item already exists. But I might change maybe and make it like, let's make it like Joyce with like capital letter G. Why I have like small letter Joyce to check if it's gonna like try to understand that. But I think the regular expression has been helping us here. So if I again, let me just try another thing new. Let's say pineapple, for example, with lowercase, right? Which is, I think, not already there. yeah, it's send, but if I send the pineapple with uppercase, let's check a bit. Go to list view to check if it's already there. So I have pineapple. I have a pineapple with the lowercase. No, I think here I use double P and small p. I'm sorry, guys. I was.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was. Okay, let me. All right.
Two
Maybe I
completely
can-
different things.
Yeah, yeah. I was now going to panic. I was like, yeah. So I might maybe use this one with 1P. Then I use the uppercase to check. Maybe I do pineapple with uppercase with 1P. So if I add, you can see it's able to understand that this pineapple is like similar to this one with lower P. But also I can also do like pineapple again with 1P, but with let's say the punctuation thing. So if I put a punctuation and I add, it will still able to understand that we already have pineapple. So this is what I was showing like in the code. This is where we have been like cleaning up the user's input here, where like everything should change to lowercase and the regular expression could remove the like the punctuation. So that's more what we did. Yeah, I think yeah, that's it. What I got, and yeah.
Wow,
That was
you did a
fantastic.
great
My
job there.
favorite thing, I love how you pulled in what the other team had worked on this week. Like that's super collaborative and super great teamwork that you noticed that and then worked that into your work too. I love that. Amazing.
Thank you.
Can
You
I
did a
ask,
great job on your own, even though you know you're a team member down. You really stepped up to it and you made it happen. You did a great demo there. I think we all completely understood what you were going through. You walked us through the thought process and then you showed us how it worked and how it prevented us from making duplicate items. So great work. Sorry, Claire, go ahead.
does the code work for multiple punctuation? So if I put in 2 dots, for example, would it then also remove that or also account for that? Or Zahi, what you doing? Oh, he doesn't hear me.
Yeah, maybe he has a connection issue.
Maybe, yeah.
Right in this moment. But wow, yeah, he did a great demo. Absolutely. Dashi, you there?
It looks like we may have lost him. Although,
Oh no, there he disappeared completely.
there it is.
Amazing demos. Okay, with that, I am going to bounce. I just wanted to see what you've been building, and it's so beautiful, and the teamwork is so inspiring. So keep up the good work, and I'm always here for you if you need anything. I will see you around. Enjoy the presentation.
Bye, Stacey. Thanks for joining. Yeah, great demos.
Yeah. So I'm trying to reach out to him and say, hey, we understand you're probably having bad connection.
We're on Slack. Okay.
I must say it's a testament to the program that there are more mentors than mentees, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's great that we have this possibility to have like as many of us as possible, so that if you have any questions or issues with the code, there is someone who can help right away. So.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Great. Yeah, Chiamaka, you can maybe start preparing for a presentation. I mean, if you want to do that, and hopefully Sashi can join us soon.
All right.
Yeah, I let him know that, you know, he can join when he's stable again, or just catch the recording later if he can't get back in. But
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. So I guess I should go ahead with the presentation then. Okay. So our learning module today is on pair programming, and it's going to be collaborative in the sense that after I go through the slide, I would like to hear from the developers how it's going, how it's been with you, the pair programming. Are you enjoying it? Have you been experiencing any blockers? What tools you've been using, and are you finding it easy? Because initially when I started pair programming, I didn't find it fun and easy. So I would like to hear from you and how it's been and how you're finding the whole situation. Okay, let's jump into it.
Sorry, guys. Internet connection issues.
Yeah.
But
so we are doing the learning module now on pair programming. So by way of definition, pair programming is when two developers sit together in front of a computer and then take turns writing code using just one keyboard. Two developers sitting in front of a computer, then using one keyboard to code. So the two developers, in the two developers, they make up the driver and then the navigator. So the driver is the person that controls the keyboard and is responsible for writing the code they need in order to complete the task. The person will try to verbalize their thinking process as much as possible as the code, and then thinks low level about the code. Then the navigator pays close attention to the code the driver is writing, offering guidance, suggesting alternatives, and finding answers to upcoming questions and challenges, and acting as a sounding board for the ideas the driver is coming up with. And then the navigator thinks with a bird eye view of the code. So the driver thinks low level about the code. The navigator is the person that is observing and then thinks with a bird eye view of the code, monitoring everything and how it's going. So pair programming can be in person and then remotely. So when it's remote, there are tons of amazing tools that make remote pair programming even more collaborative, but incredible collaboration can happen with a very simple setup. Firstly, the two developers hop on a video or screen share call. And secondly, the driver shares their screen and codes while the navigator provides feedback and asks questions. Thirdly, the driver pushes code to remote repo, and then the navigator pulls down the code locally. And then fourthly, the driver and the navigator swap roles and then start all over again. That's when it's happening remotely, when they're not together. And then there are some mindsets and attitudes that is expected of the pair programmers. The attitude they're supposed to approach pair programming with, and that is the beginner's mindset. They're supposed to embrace doubt and possibility and keep an open mind. Then secondly, not about teaching nor mentorship. So it's not about teaching like a one-sided something, it's about collaboration. Two of them are talking about it and then arriving at an answer, sharing ideas together. Thirdly, it's an opportunity to learn. In the process of hearing this other person talking about their own approach, you're learning from them. Then fourthly, the drivers seek agreement before proceeding. And then the navigators ask, they don't tell. Yeah, so it's supposed to be a collaboration between them. And the navigators is supposed to ask like, is this better this way? Do you think it could be better this way? And not do it this way, do it that way. So it's kind of a collaboration between the two of them where they bring ideas differently and then merge it together to arrive at a a viable solution to the problem they are trying to solve. So that's it. That was fast. Okay, so how does this align with your pair programming experience so far? So since we started, you've been pair programming, or we believe you've been pair programming. So how has that been going? And have you been pair programming or you've been doing it asynchronously? So let's hear from you.
Well, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the pair programming process, because I'm so used to programming on my own that it's definitely a learning curve. But I should also say I'm learning so much from all the others, because they're, you know, more advanced. So in that sense, I'm fairly lucky that I can I have the others to sort of lean on a little bit. And but I do try to sort of push myself to, as much as I can, you know, contribute to the process.
Okay, so when how do you approach solving the issues weekly? Like, do you both come on a call and then talk about it, or do you code your own and push, and then your partner will pull down and then code and push? That's the asynchronous. So how
Yeah.
have you been doing it?
We've been mostly, especially in the beginning of the week, we've been mostly coming together first and then really coding together. And then as the week progressed, it did happen that, you know, we would sort of branch off and then code separately, little bit separately. But I think in the past 3 weeks, the bulk of the work was done together, if my memory is correct still. Because, yeah.
Nice. And now is this something you enjoy doing? One thing is to do it, another thing is to enjoy doing it.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I'll let somebody else speak.
Okay.
Yeah, I can add something. Adding to pair programming, for me, it's I haven't done this before, but it was amazing. Most of like me and my teammate this past like 3 weeks, it was like in the beginning, it's more like we sit down and read our aids, because I think you've noticed like every time you present like the issue, most of us don't know what's going on. It's like I don't even know what's it. So we just in the beginning sit down and try to kind of discuss and be like, so what is this? What are we supposed to do? How can we start it small and try to improve like in the end? So by just trying to understand and simplifying what our ACs are, we end up finding ourselves like solving the thing and they'd be like, oh, I didn't know I can do this. I didn't know I can do this. So it's a fun game. Like it's really amazing and a good experience, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah. One thing I would add, like for me, the beginning of like learning the pair programming process, what I loved, and this is like something that Claire and Zashi both mentioned, is that it's amazing like how much you learn from another person, but at the same time, like how much you can think of while you are having this conversation with another pair. Like maybe like for all my personal experience, I would not think of a solution before I explained the actual problem. So just like having this conversation, discussing with the other pair, that helped a lot, even just like for me to come up with a solution. So and it also like becomes so like efficient in terms of like coming to the solution. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think like I was really nervous about pair programming to start with. I didn't know how I was going to find it. But as soon as you get into that conversation with your partner, you both start having ideas, and then you can discuss and decide like what solutions to take forward and stuff like that. I found it really, really useful. I think the only time that I've got a bit stuck with it is like this week there was some code that me and Claire, like neither of us knew what to do at all. And we just got completely stuck. And that was a case of, I kind of felt like because I had nowhere to begin, I couldn't solve that with someone else. I had to like go away and research before we could come back together and then discuss. So yeah, that's how I found it. I found it really, really, really useful.
Nice. For me, initially, why I didn't, when I heard about it, two people coming together to code, I was like, what am I going to contribute? What if the person knows it more than myself? Would I just sit down there and just be watching? But when you look at it, it's actually, people have different reasons for pair programming. And to some people, it's actually for the purpose of learning, for the purpose of carrying the junior developer along. They do it a lot where a senior and a junior developer come together to code for that purpose of just carrying the junior along and probably explaining to them some concepts, probably during onboarding and stuff. So as time went on, I started being comfortable with it. You can be the more experienced person, the other person can be the more experienced person. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're understanding, you're open to learning, and then you're contributing, and it's just flowing. So it's really nice, actually. A very nice way to share knowledge. Yeah. Okay. Any other comments? All right, that's it. So these are the links in case if you want to learn more. I already posted them on Slack, so you can go ahead and read more about pair programming and the benefits. And then the tools too. Like this last one already, it's really extensive. It talks about the tools too that you can do use to do pair programming. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chiamaka. Yeah, we can share slides after like in the slides so that you have access to that resource, to those resources. So, yeah. Should we move forward with the coming issues?
Yep.
Cool. So I'm going to share my screen. 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's go and let's check the last two issues that we are going to take this week, the issue 7 and 8. At 1 second. At 7, we have as a user, I want to see welcoming prompt to add my first item if my list is empty to help me get oriented to know how the app works. The requirements are, the first one is the list view where there are no items to display should show a prompt, for example, a button for the user to add their first item, and the notes, that is the wireframe. The wireframe is a little shot on the welcoming part of the story, but otherwise its functionality is complete for the purposes of the requirements. So here we can see the wireframe. So the idea would be that you would add a button for adding something. Is it clear for everyone? Does it make sense? Okay, perfect. Then let me go again. So this is the first issue. The second issue, it's going to be this issue number 8. As a user, I want to mark an item on my shopping list as purchased, so as bought, so the app can learn how often I buy different items. The requirements here are user is able to tap a checkbox or similar UI element to mark an item in a list as purchased. And second, item should be shown as checked for 24 hours after the purchase is made. For example, we assume the user does not need to buy the item again for at least 1 day. The notes here are: one challenge you pair may work though is figuring out you they will test this. For example, maybe create a few sample items, then go into your Firestore console and manipulate the dates. And the wireframe shows the use of simple checkboxes for this purpose. And the wireframe looks like this. So here you would have the items, and here you would have the checkboxes that you can select.
Just to quickly add, so this wireframe has like more things than you were supposed to do. So like the delete buttons and the details button, like you can just like not implement, of course, because like you will be doing in the coming weeks, but like just a simple checkbox that will like select that this item was purchased, and it will be disabled for next 24 hours so that a user cannot like purchase twice per day, because we assume that it's like a user can purchase like only once in 24 hours. So like one of the issues is very straightforward, kind of like you need to just implement a button that will show, like if the list is empty, just show an item, like for example that says add your first item, so that user can learn how to navigate inside the app. So that's like fairly straightforward. The second one is a bit more involved, but both are very interesting.
So now the question is, which pair is going to take the first issue, the issue number 7, and which pair is going to take the issue number 8? That it's a little bit more complicated.
Oh, and the pairs are, I sent in the chat, but AB and Nadinder, and Claire and Zashi.
Okay, I think me and Claire, we can go with 8. I don't know what she thinks. Just try and.
Why not? Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
But I do have a question about 8. So if you click the checkbox next to the item, so I'm trying to figure out what happens. So I don't know. I'm a little bit. Let me see.
Yeah. So basically, like for this specific issue, the only thing we need to implement is that user is able to purchase item only once per day. That means that you need to somehow like disable the checkbox for 24 hours so that user cannot purchase it twice per day.
Okay, so you, yeah, okay.
Because like somehow like we need to control the functionality that user already purchased an item. So basically, like allowing them to purchase an item and then showing that that item was purchased today.
Okay, and the checkbox. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So the checkbox shows that the item is purchased. Is that it? So if I check next to, say, a pineapple, that is, okay, this item is purchased, and then it stays checked for 24 hours. Is that it? Okay.
Yes, that's right. So by clicking the checkbox, you are so user is able to say that, okay, I purchased the item, and next time I can check mark this is after 24 hours.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. And the way how you want to display this, it's totally up to you. You can have like a maybe line through that, like for 24 hours that you cannot purchase this because you already purchased it, or you can maybe change the checkmark color. Like it's totally up to you to decide how you want to do. Maybe like just have it disabled for the checkmark. It's totally up to you, like in terms of the design, how you want to show it.
Yeah.
So for the issue number 8, I assigned Zahi and Claire, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Then let's go and assign for issue number 7. So I guess here's going to be Nadinda. And Abby.
You remembered. Amazing. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So now we have assigned also the issue number 7. Cool. I guess that was it from the issues. And I'm really looking forward to see how this week is going to go.
Yeah, just to quickly mention, like, please feel free to like collaborate with another pair to work on the number 8 issue if you feel like. I mean, if you like finish it like fast, you can totally like join the other team to help out if they need, of course. So yeah, you're like one team, so you got it. Yeah, and of course, like if you have any questions, we are always here on Slack, and please like ping us, ask us questions, anything in terms of not being clear of ACs. If you want to clarify something, please feel free to reach out, and we are always here to clarify or try to explain better, and even maybe like change the wording in the AC, because if it's confusing for someone, it can be confusing in the future for others too. So if you feel like it's confusing, please let us know. Yeah, also, I will be having an office hour this week, and after our meeting, I will send out a doodle so that you can choose what time works better for you. So let's try to make it maybe on Wednesday, since like it's in the middle of the week, so that we have time for questions, and then maybe I can help if you get stuck on anything. And yeah. All right. Does anyone have any questions, comments?
I just wanted to say, as I missed the last week because I was on holiday, it was quite impressive to see the progress that you made in just 1 week.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Progress is like really fast. I love it. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. And
Thank you.
we will see you on
Bye-bye.
Slack. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.